Okay, so welcome to the Sunday night talk. And before I start, I have actually a little list because I've got a head like a sieve. Underneath, don't need a list for this, but underneath the video there are some links. There's a link to private sessions, which you can have with me. Yeah, they're always very different from this. Same subject though. There's talks and events, and I have an event coming up in Brighton. Hola, Akil. I have an event coming up in Brighton on the 16th and 17th of December. You can either pay when you come or you can get a discount. That's on my website. And also, hi Paul, also on my website, I'm doing a webinar next Saturday. There's only 4 places and there's only 2 left. I do charge a little bit for that, not much, because I need to, I need to charge a little bit, but it's not much, and it's an hour and a half, and it's next Saturday. Hi, Claudia. What else? Yeah, there's this website. Hi, Joe. There's a website called Seeking Nothing, and my events are on there. But the guy who runs it, he's going to probably give it up. So I don't know what's going to happen. He's looking for somebody to take it over. That's events running in London with non-duality speakers. So I don't know if those events are going to run or not now. I'll have to see. Hi, Recon. I'll answer that in a bit. I just have to do some kind of introduction. Hi, Will. Yeah, I'll come back to that one as my first question. Oh yeah, and Facebook. I'm afraid I don't accept requests on my private page, because I need to have some sort of contact or friendship with the person. So please don't get offended if I don't accept you. If I got to know you a bit better, then yeah, then maybe that would happen. I just culled over 200 people today from my Facebook. I didn't know most of them, so that's that. Oh yeah, and if you have got my book and you like it, please put a review on Amazon if you move to. That would really be great. Really be great. Okay, that's that. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, but I'm thinking of going traveling instead now. So there we go. Could do non-duality talk to some random remote place in the world. Hi, Sergey. Okay, so so the great news is that there isn't anybody. And even if it appears that it feels like there's somebody, it isn't anybody. It's actually life. It's actually this aliveness appearing as somebody. But it isn't as somebody at all. It isn't somebody at all. It's just not a person. It's life appearing as separation. And inside that, there can be a feeling of, well, that doesn't help, that's rubbish, I still can't get free. But it's such a play. It's such a play, all this appearance of separation. Because when there is no longer separation, it's seen that there was never separation. It just appeared like there was. When that separation is no longer appearing, can't even see it dies or leaves, it's just no longer appearing. All that's left is life. And there's nobody in it. It's just this ever constant flow, free fall flow of life appearing as the human, the computer, and the wall, and other people. Hi, Sergey. As all that. And it's so beyond description, because as soon as there's any word put on it or any thought put on it, that is also part of the whole. So it's so immediate and so in free fall that you just can't get hold of it. You just can't touch it. It's only a sense of separation which sees everything as separate and in forms and other things, concepts, especially about non-duality, concepts. And it just doesn't see the free fall, and it never will see the free fall. Hi Tracy, you're here. Yay. And what's left is just what was always here. What appears is what you've always looked for, but thought it was something else, and thought it was in separation, because the separate self thinks it's looking for it, so it sees it as separation. But what you're actually looking for is home. To what is. This is home. This is all there is. There's nothing else. Just sitting here, speaking, listening. Hi, Susie. Yeah, my favorite topic too. My top topic. I have a list underneath, but that's the top one. Yeah, best. Just being. This is just being. This is being. But there's no being in it. There's no being that's looking out from it. There's no awareness that's looking out at anything. There's nothing that can know it. There's nothing, because if there's anything knowing anything, then that's it too, appearing as knowing. There is no knowing. This being, this aliveness, has no separate consciousness or awareness. It's just not there. Unless it appears to be there, but that would just be an appearance. The closest I can say to this is there's a kind of a intelligence in it, but not an intelligence as the human thinks it is. There's no kind of great mind behind it or some sort of God figure or anything like that. But it's just so itself, but it's not an it. Our words always come across as contradiction. Hi, Tangerine. I quite enjoy the contradiction. I enjoy it. It's so, you know, I get some comments sometimes in the posts, well, this isn't right. Nothing's right. There's nothing right and there's nothing wrong. There's no something that is got that can be defined as right or wrong. It's the end of it. The life of something being right and wrong as it, you know, as the whole is utterly stripped away. And then there's just responses to things. And no one's having those responses. They're just responses happening. They're just a total flow of response when there's response there. Yeah, I will, Sergey. I'm just going to go back up to that first question from Rincon. Are all words empty What is reality? Will we ever know who we are? Okay, it's 3 questions. Are all words empty? Essentially, yes and no. Because hearing the words happen, and there's a cognition of the words, but they happen in emptiness, and the whole thing happens in emptiness. So the hearing of the words and the cognizing of the words, the recognition of the words, or whatever you want to call it, the discernment of the words, what has that ring of rightness, is all there, but it's all happening in nothing. It's all nothing. It's all empty of meaning. It's just the free flow of life, just appearing. What is reality? This, sitting here on a chair, speaking with walls and light and water and words and everything. What this is and where it's from can't be spoken of. But this is all there is. There isn't anything outside of it. This is it. This is it. And it's amazing, because it's amazing that it's even constructed in such a way that it appears as bodies and computers and all that. It's amazing. It's a miracle. Will we ever know who we are? No, because we are not anyone. There is just an appearance of someone. And that isn't actually a someone. That is actually aliveness appearing as separation. So no, there's nothing here who knows, well, anything, actually. Except for maybe what time it is. That's not knowing anything, is it? That's just functioning. Knowing is a function, like awareness is a function. You know, the human awareness is not bumping into doors and all that kind of stuff, you know. Hope that answers your question. So down to Sergey. Could you please help to clarify the difference between I did it and it's just happened in terms of non-duality? Yeah, well, with or without a sense of self, the human would say I did it, because that's just a normal way of speaking, and it just happens like that. You know, I would say that today I tried to construct a greenhouse and it was disastrous. And I would say I did it and I did it wrong. But really, nobody did it. Life doesn't do the person. The person thinks life does the body, the human, but it doesn't. Life does everything. Life does everything. The person doesn't do anything except for feel like it's separate and look for an answer. And it just happened. Yeah, I think I kind of answered that within it. Hi, Roy. Yeah, but if you really think that you did it, I mean, that's what the separate person does. It thinks that I did it. I got the bits of metal and put them together and did all that. And then it thinks I did it wrong, so I'm wrong, da 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 da. And it's a kind of an overlay onto actually what is happening. The self is like an overlay to the appearance. It's another appearance in an appearance, but it isn't anything. Joe, everything's not what you think it is. Well, I don't know what anything is. It just is. Just is. And I wouldn't know, because there's nobody who would know. That's why this sense of separation can never know, because it can't know anything. Hi, Sana. It just can think it knows, or think it's closer. One of its tricks is that it thinks it's closer to home. It's a complete fabrication of the sense of self, and yet the sense of self is home. But that can never be seen from that perspective of separation. And I think that's why a lot of people laugh, you know, like when I do Skype calls with people, there's a lot of laughter there. And it's just like, oh, yeah, of course, of course. It's funny, it's ironic. It's ironic that all this time I think I've been searching for freedom. Hi, Joanna. I think I've been searching for freedom. And the irony was, there was never anyone searching and there was never any freedom for anybody. It was always just here already, overlooked by looking. But the sense of separation can't be anything but what it is. Paul, even the feeling of not wanting to go out to work tomorrow. Yeah, totally. Anything that's appearing is it. The feeling of not wanting to go to work tomorrow. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Is life appearing as that? It's so complete because it can't be any other way. It's just so total. High boundless energy. Tracy, I find myself imagining winning the lottery and how I'll be slim and happier, but I know that really is it is unconditional love that is desired. Yeah, because any form that the me thinks it has gained won't last long. So if you were to lose loads of weight, it would still be searching because that's what it does. It'd be happy maybe for a little while, you know, if it wins the lottery, I've got all this money now, therefore everything's okay now, I'm safe. Excuse me. But this, what I'm speaking of is the end of safety for anyone. It's the end of security. Everything is just totally in free fall, utterly collapsing all the time and being remade in no time at all, in no time. So there's no security in that. And it's unnecessary anyway because it's the end of anyone who would want to be secure. Rincon. When I hear your word, my breath becomes so soothing, as if I never took a breath before. Something happened here. Is it energy? Yes. Yeah, something hears it. And it kind of like does something to the body a bit, but that's because the body is like adjusts to it somehow. It's like when the sense of self is falling away. I have a friend where the sense of self is just totally collapsing and her body's just freaking out. And we spoke about this, and from what I understand, and from what the experience was here, it's that the body-mind goes along a certain track, and it's always been going along this track, thinking it's going somewhere, and it's kind of set, you know, like a pair of rails goes along, and suddenly the rails are uprooted. So the body-mind can just have a reaction, but it's not having a spiritual experience or anything like that, because there is no spiritual experience, not really. It is ultimately all, well, it's just all there is. Tracy, and yet the beloved never leaves. No, there's only that. There's only this. It never comes and it never leaves. It's just what is. And it is beyond description. And there's nothing here that knows it because I can't describe it. It's not like that. It just is. Sergey, Lisa, sounds like thoughts, emotions, and desires are just functions of our minds, not who we are. But what do you do when one of those appears? It is mine. Should I follow? Who should decide? That sounds like seeking questions. Is it mine? Should I follow? Who should decide? The desires and functions of emotions and thoughts are utterly in free fall. And then on top of that, there's a me saying, what should I do about it? It's not it that will decide to do something about it anyway. There'll just be movement towards doing something about it or not doing something about it. Here, there's no longer a desire to do anything about anything. What arises, arises. It's just totally in a flow. Joe, mind-blowing. Yeah, totally. Hi, Alessandro. Keel. And when the sense of self is gone, it doesn't ever return, right? Not even with your greenhouse moment. No, because there isn't anybody. There isn't anybody to return. I don't know if that has happened to anyone. Perhaps. I mean, there's no real rules, actually. Hasn't happened here. But it's like, well, there isn't anybody. There wasn't ever anybody. There was never someone called Lisa. She was just an appearance happening. Yeah, the greenhouse moment. I actually laughed. At one point, I pulled it apart and the pole fell through the fence and down onto the roof of my other part of the house. Then I had to go and get a mop and drag it off the roof. It was a disaster. But it was quite funny. Sergey, sorry for mind blowing, and thanks for your answers and help, Lisa. Oh, it's my pleasure. That's what I'm here for. Hi, GML. Liberated people. Liberated people do not know what the world is either. No. Then why do you listen to them? Why do we listen to them? What do they talking about at all? They're talking about the end of suffering. The suffering of the self, the constant suffering, and it's illusory. That's it. This is not about the world. This is not about the reactions to the world, the responses to the world, the horror of the world when that happens, or the joy of the world. This is about the end of thinking there is someone who has to get to completion, when the completion already is here, as everything. That's it. Hi, lovely. I love your name. Alessandra, can the me appearance reappear? I think it's probably could do that. It appeared once, so I guess it could appear again. Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter though. It's not important. May appear important in the moment of reappearing. Thinking like if it reappeared, I had lost it. It's just it's illusory. It's illusory. Susie, just to share, my mum passed 10 years ago, 67. 2 weeks before passing, she questioned, what was this life all about? I have to make this a bit bigger. That's better. Before passing, she questions, what was this life all about, as she had been waiting for it to begin. And then I then said that this is it, this is life. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is like that, isn't it? It's like the sense of self waits for life to begin for it, the life it's always waited for. And it never begins. There's no start to what I'm speaking of. There's no start. There's no end. There's no time. It's absolutely absent of time. Time is utterly illusory. Thanks for sharing that. That's really nice. Hi, Boundless. Just a thought game. If the I collapses, time and space dissolve. The illusion ends, and what remains is what is. Everything out of nothing. Yeah. Could that be as well a computer program? If that could be an option, then there must be a computer outside this aforementioned story. Thoughts? Well, if there is, I don't know anything about it, and I would have to imagine that. I guess it's not really important until it's actually appearing. And then we'd all be going, damn, all this time. All this time, we were stuck in some sort of simulation. But I guess until that moment is realized, it really doesn't matter. It's just that would have to be the imagination here, anyway. I do like that sort of. I do like that kind of sci-fi kind of stuff, though. Roy, The Matrix. Yeah, I love that film. Didn't date very well though, but I love it. Boundless energy, nothing matters. Yeah, in a sense, it doesn't mean that everything doesn't matter, so therefore nothing matters. That I don't need to care about anyone or anything anymore. I don't. When I say nothing matters, I don't mean like that. It means like there isn't actually anything coming to a conclusion. So there is no outcome to anything. It's just life in free flow. If that means, you know, being a very kind, caring human, or being a bit of an asshole, you know, that's just how it is. But ultimately, no, because this appearance will end on the deathbed or under a car or something. It would never have moved. Never moves. Gmail. So all what can happen if I listen? So is all that what can happen if I listen to non-duality, that I will become non-suffering fool from a suffering fool? Yes. If you want to call yourself a fool. Well, there won't be anybody who's not suffering. It's the end of suffering or not suffering. It's the end of being somebody. It's the end of living in living in a fantasy of being somebody who is going somewhere and is waiting and wanting and trying and suffering and hoping and dreaming and practicing and all that stuff. It's the end of all that. Then the human is just free to respond to whatever is around it. And what's around it and the response are the same thing. There's no separation anymore. Joe, gratitude. Thank you, Joe. Unless you mean gratitude generally. Thank you, Keel. Lovely. Can it be traumatizing when the me falls, not knowing what to do next anymore? I feel really disorientated. I don't know if it's me or not. Yeah, for sure. Disorientation can definitely happen to some. For sure. Because the body-mind is totally in another reality. And it's not going along the same railroad anymore. The railroad is gone. It's just total free fall. So there can be a huge disorientation, but it's just disorientation and it passes. Don't know if it's the me or not. Well, if you don't know if it's the me or not, then it's just what's happening, actually. It's just what's happening, lovely. Yeah, there's that feeling of not knowing what to do next anymore. But then that just goes away, and then there's just what is. And there's no longer that not knowing what to do next or anymore, just appearing. That just goes. But it will pass. I know what that's like. There's probably a kind of a meing and being going on there. So the feeling of not wanting to do, not knowing what to do anymore, will be coming up, and then it's not there, and then there's disorientation, and that can happen, or it can just fade away slowly and not really be noticed. But I think it's just different for everybody, you know. It's just the way life appears. It just appears like that. Rincon. Actually, this should be taught in the school, because when I was a teenager, the random thought that I used to own bothered me so much. I wish someone told me all these were cultural bullshit. Yeah, well, you know, school's a sausage machine, isn't it? It's just a sausage machine for workers, just churning them out with no creativity, no anything. Unless you're lucky enough to get an amazing teacher, you're just taught utter rubbish. Yeah. I couldn't stand school. Couldn't wait. Left when I was 14. Couldn't wait. I was out of there. Boundless. Boundless. It's a good word, isn't it? Boundless. Just annoying you again, coming back for my computer story. That's okay. If that would be an option, then there must be a creator. Or would there? Who created the creator? All this creator idea, I mean, it's just all in the imagination, isn't it? There is only creation, and there is only creation. That's it. I cannot find anything else but what is. Anything else would just be in my imagination. It doesn't matter for the simulation story, it only matters to the I illusion, the illusion in the what is illusion. Yeah. So many things matter to the I illusion. Everything matters to the I illusion. Only the I illusion matters. It's totally like a reality that thinks only I matter. I am the center of it all. I am this pillar, this beam of me, and that's all that matters. And everything revolves around it and is separate from it. Alexandro, I think this is an awakening illusion when there is contraction. I feel that knowing non-duality helps me, but suddenly there is no one. It's really frustrating. Yeah, you can't know non-duality, but you can hear it, and the illusion can be dispelled. And then eventually the illusion might just completely collapse. You can know what it's not, even though it is. There goes my contradictions again. Yeah, it's really frustrating because there's always this kind of feeling of wanting to know. And that's never going to happen. That whole thing will just totally collapse anyway. It just will be absolutely unnecessary. It's always an I illusion, yeah. Lovely. Oh, thank you. You can't get this wrong no matter what happens, right? No, because nothing is wrong. Everything is such a wonderful, beautiful irony. Because the sense of self is always trying to get it right. And then it becomes obvious that everything is absolutely perfect. As it is, it can't be any other way. And it can't be wrong. Because it wouldn't be here. Even the reaction, that's wrong, is totally this being what it is. Rincon. I left all that was expected from me to become empty first now. I realized I was always empty. Yeah, it's all empty. So there is a sense of that emptiness, even from a sense of self, because you can't actually find it. You can't find it. It's total fantasy. It's totally empty. It's totally empty of anyone because there isn't anybody. You cannot find it. And even when you look for it, the sense of self will go, well, I'm here. Of course I'm here. Here I am. I feel like a me. But that's just what will be appearing. GML. Then why do other speakers talk about the Creator, about God? Why? I have no idea. And I have no interest in anything about a Creator or a God. None at all. That just sounds like religion to me. What came first, chicken and the egg? I guess, Joe. Whatever one walks into the room first. Oh, thank you, Roy. Boundless. Thank you for your illusory time. Oh, thank you. Bye and welcome in the no beginning and end. Alpha and Omega. Good night. P.S. Add me to your Facebook. Oh. Yeah. Well, I'm on a Facebook page. You can message me there. GML. It is very interesting. We are listening to speakers who are the same in that they talk about things what we do not see, but they do not agree either. They say different things. Talking about things that what we do not see. Well, there's no one to see those things. There's only just sitting in a room happening, or outside if you're outside. There's nothing to see. There is no one who sees it or doesn't see it. And they don't agree, well, they just don't agree. Lots of people who don't agree. Doesn't matter. It's not interesting. They see different things. Well, apparently they do. But you know, life appears as it appears. Doesn't matter. So what? Sergey, we give power to our suffering ourselves. Yeah, it's a wheel, isn't it? It's a wheel in no time. But we are allowed to stop and feed it. And moreover, there is a bonus. We can again see things how we have seen them long ago, before our view was poisoned. In a sense, yeah. Yeah, well, the appearing to feed it is just how life appears. The seeker feeds itself through seeking, and feeds itself through the promise of enlightenment, awakening. It's always promised that. It feels like it's a promise. Other people are awakened, so I can get there. And ironically, it's the end of getting anywhere. It's the end of anyone being anything or being at all. All that's left is what is. And the view poisoned, before our view was poisoned. Yeah, the thing is, it was never our view. It was always just life. And then life appeared as the sense of separation. And then appears again as no separation, no body. It's really very simple. And when the simplicity becomes obvious, it's amazing. And people tell me, people write to me and say, oh my God, it was always so obvious. It's so amazing. Yeah, it's brilliant. Gmail. If speakers would see the truth, they would see the same things. They do not, though. I don't know about anybody seeing anything. They do not do. I don't know about, there isn't anybody, GML. There isn't anybody. They're just seeing things differently happens. That's it. There's nobody who sees the truth. There is no truth. It's just what's happening. Story, says Joe. Joe's one-liners. Here, more and more the control goes, and then comes back. Yeah. Sometimes it feels so free. Then I think, why did I do it like that? Why not like I normally do? Like that was better, tiring sometimes. Yeah. When there's that kind of flip-flopping going on, freedom, just freedom, the sense of freedom, and then no freedom, then the sense of self comes in and makes a story about what was done. What did I do? Why did I do it like that? And then that's just gone, and then it's just not there. And then it comes in again. And it's always the sense of self that asks those questions. But you know, that kind of flip-flopping just goes on like that until it doesn't. Yeah, and that feeling of control just starts to disappear as well. Then there's nobody to have any control. It's the end of control. Totally. The end of certainty, end of security, end of everything. And yet there is only everything. GML, oh God, maybe I use C wrong. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. All that happens here is just response. Because I don't know what's being said. There's nobody knows what's being said. It's just a response that happens from nothing, from absolutely nothing. It's amazing. Like I was speaking with my editor yesterday, Julie Rombarger, who's an amazing editor, by the way, if you ever need an editor. And we were going through 28 pages of the book that's being written, and I was reading it, and it was like, who said that? Who said that? Nobody said that. It just comes out. GML, you are a speaker. You are a speaker because you speak about things what other people do not know. No, that's not true. But you somehow know it. That's not true either. But there are other speakers. You all should say the same things to be true. Oh dear. We should all say the same. Well, nobody's saying these things. And that's impossible. It's like saying that I should change the way I speak to agree with someone else. That would be insane. And I don't know anything. There's nobody who knows anything. There isn't anybody. It just appears like you don't know, and you're thinking that something's going to happen. But nothing's going to happen. It's already just happening. Sergey, please go back to 2 live events per week someday. I will try. It's hard, honestly. It's like I do the broadcast and then it's the next day and suddenly it's Sunday again. Like didn't I just do that yesterday? Time goes so fast. Yeah, possibly. I'm going to be doing more of these like webinar things where I speak to I'm only going to have 4 people. If that works out well, I might up it to 5, but that's the absolute limit. But I do them privately and they're not recorded or broadcasted. I'm going to be doing that. My first one's next Saturday. And it's so people can have a little bit more interaction and it's just more intense. Joe, the end is nigh. Apparently so. Tracy. Oh, thank you, Tracy. I have a resonance and I long for the freedom of free fall, so talked about. Yeah, all that longing, when there is only free fall, all that longing was never anything. It was never anything. It never got to anything. It'll just fall away like it was nothing, nothing. GML, the truth can be only one. While you speak about different things, you are false. Or one can be the truth from you, maximum. Well, there is no truth, GML. There's only what's happening. There is no truth. Because a truth would have to be something. This is about what is. It's not about a thing that is a truth. What is in total freefall. There can't be any truth in it. There is only freefall, and that can appear as someone who thinks there is a truth. But no one ever finds that truth because there isn't anyone, and all there is what is. Hi, CDD. Seems like having a sense of self makes me's life extremely limited. Yeah. Because from a sense of me to know me, there is only unlimited. There is only boundlessness. There's only everything, and it is utterly empty of anything. Yeah. Gmail, you talk about what is happening. You say it at least. That should be the truth. Yeah, but you're still looking for a truth. You're still looking for an ultimate something, an ultimate knowledge. When what I'm talking about here is totally stripped of everything that is something. Sergey, it's definitely very hard, Lisa, yeah, to deal with our most deep fears and troubles. Yeah, I know. It really is suffering, isn't it? It's suffering. Even though it's life appearing, it's still shit. It's hard, yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. That's really sweet of you. Yeah. GML. There is a God, or there is no God. That is an ultimate truth. You should agree in that. I love your forthrightness, GML. Until then, you are false. Yeah, well, that's because you're still looking for a definitive. You're still looking for a definitive, an answer. When what is spoken here is beyond answers, it's beyond definition, things, forms, appearances, concepts. Yeah. A God or no God is a definitive thing. It's getting hot in here. Yeah. It's all right. I know to you now. He's just very forthright. You should agree in that. I can't agree in anything because there's no one who would agree with it, with something like that. Yeah. Yeah, concepts some people are saying. There is no such thing like maybe there is a God. Well, I never said that. I never said that at all. Here, the notion of a God is totally irrelevant. It's so beyond that. It's so more beautiful than that. It's so more amazing than definitions and concepts and beliefs, because that would have to be a belief. Because where is this God? Where is it? Is it a white guy with a beard hanging up there with his bros? You know, what is this thing called God? It's just conceptual. No one's ever shown God. I do not know, never. Exactly. Exactly. Your experience of life is always whatever is just happening, and that's including daydreaming about what's not happening. And when there is ideas and concepts about what is not happening, it can't be seen that that is the entirety of the life, absolutely exploding into existence, apparent existence, as absolutely everything. But other speakers talk about it. Yeah. But who's saying it? Speakers at the same position like you. I'm not in a position. They just want us to believe them. I certainly don't want that. I just speak because speaking happens. It just bursts out of me. I can't help it. I couldn't give a damn if people like listening to me or not. And there's nothing to believe. There's nothing to be. What would be believing? It'd be believing in something that is a concept. And life can appear as that too. And there's nothing wrong in it, because life is utterly profound and utterly perfect. Okay, so then what's the opposite? I think you need to listen more carefully. There is no position, never mind opposite. There is no position. And I don't care about other speakers. I don't care what they say. People can say what they want. Who cares? I mean, what humans tend to do is they just go to the biggest yes. It's like a kind of a yes. That's a yes. You know, I remember here when there was all this flip-flopping going around, like some of the people here, and I was going to different speakers, and there was a discernment coming about because I could sense something was happening and I couldn't really define what it was. So I went to Tony, and Tony spoke, and there was this yes. That's what seems to be happening. That's what is happening. But if it's not there, why would you listen to somebody? It's because you're trying to get something in what they're saying. You're trying to understand what they're saying, which utterly misses what's actually being said. There's a kind of a yes with it. And if there's no yes there, then you're listening to the wrong people. CDD. My me has spent way too much time thinking of itself, of its family, of its job, of its experiences. That has severe limitations. That has not been free. No, it's a sense of entrapment, isn't it? It's a sense of I am entrapped in this life. But there's also something else that appears that knows that that is an entrapment and it's not true. And when you hear that being said, there's a ring to it, there's a feeling or a sense of yes, GML, because we want to believe you. Well, there is no we, really. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think that most of the people here have that sense of yes. And if they didn't, they would go and listen to somebody else where there is that biggest sense of yes. That's what happened here. I would go with one person. I'd be like, kind of recognize what they're saying, but it's not quite, you know, hitting the nail on the head. Or then I would go to another one and it was a bit kind of closer. Then another one, I was like, no, not them. They're talking about self-progression. And then ultimately I landed on Tony. And it was just like, yes. And there was no belief in it. I didn't need to believe him. It was just the ring of it. Like a bell, bing, like a light going on. Or the penny dropping, all those descriptions. Claudia, it's not about believing, it's about experiencing. It just is. Yeah, it just is. It just is. That's it. That's it. And no one experiences it. The yes man. Lovely. Maybe we can call life as something really divine, never in our ability to understand God or know God. Yeah, it is a complete mystery. Everything that's appearing, this apparent life that is a total, beautiful, sublime mystery. Absolutely. Gmail, yes, we can call it like that. But to that, we do not need speakers. Well, no, you don't need speakers, but people go to speakers. That's what's happening. I can know alone that life is a mystery. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you can, yeah. And there's nothing stopping you from doing that. But you will not know. You can have the idea it's a mystery. And there's also the sense it's a mystery, because it is a mystery. Nobody knows what it is because there's nobody. Everybody is the mystery. All the sense of me is the mystery appearing as a sense of self. I am going to go soon, but I will finish these few. It has permission to be as it is, says Joe. GML, I go to speakers because I do not want mystery. You will never get anything, GML. You will never get it. There is no it to get. There is only mystery. There is only what is. Life, aliveness, boundless, wonder. It's so beautiful. You would never want anything else. You would never want anything else again. Oh. If you say there is no suffering, that is much more what I can know. Yeah, but there is nobody who knows not suffering. It's the end of somebody, and the somebody is the suffering. To me, there is suffering. Yeah, I'm not talking about worldly suffering. I'm talking about sense of separation suffering. I'm not talking about world events here. That's a completely other story. Is a story. To me, there is suffering. Yeah. Joe, marmalade. Totally loves marmalade. I love marmalade. We had a marmalade discussion once. Didn't talk about non-duality at all. We talked about marmalade. It was wonderful. Sergey, there is suffering, but there is now you who suffer. Yeah, the sense of self is suffering. Yeah, I'm not talking about the suffering of physical pain and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the suffering of being separate, trying to find not suffering. Paul, dog bone. Cheers, Lisa. Good talk. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it was lively tonight. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a great talk. And really, I just love this, you know? There's no reason for it. There's no end to come about from it. There's just nothing in it, but it is everything as well. And that's the wonder. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, see you guys. I'll be here next Sunday, which will feel like tomorrow. Be free like a bee. Thank you, GML. You be free too. Even though it won't be you who's free. Okay, lots of love. Mwah. Bye.